Hello everybody, and welcome to our little in-between session for Dungeons & Dragons the Second Age. Say hello everybody.
Hello.
Hi.
So, as those of you who have already watched the VODs will be aware, we sort of ran out of time a little bit last session. So we decided that in the middle of the week we're going to sort of have this brief catch-up, and I'm going to explain to Minnie what has happened in the meantime, although he has already watched the video, so there's a little bit less explaining to do, so which hopefully shouldn't take as long as I was expecting. But yes, so you guys have had a couple of days to think about what it is. We only have Jayla and Helena here because the others can't make it, unfortunately, but they will be caught up and given their experience before next session, so you guys don't need to worry about that. But I'm interested in, once again, what you guys have learned as players, learned as characters, and maybe perhaps not a highlight of this session, perhaps a low light of this session.
How dare you?
How
dare you?
So, who wants to be a volunteer to go first?
I feel like it's pretty classic for me to go first, so.
Yeah, okay.
As a player, it's kind of hard because I don't really know what V is feeling right now, and it's just like, I mean, first we had the Dryads died, and then we had the Chimera situation, and then V ran off to be like, I can take care of myself, and then it's like, and now she's like dying all over the place, and it's just like, what the fuck is she even feeling right now? And also, I think sort of this session, I really felt like, oh my god, it's terrifying to be confronted with the idea of your character dying. Right? So, yeah, that's a thing.
Yep.
Like, it's really, really worrying. Like, you're just like, I don't want my character to die, and you realize that, like, oh my god, once you have 3 death saving throws, you're dead. And, like,
Yep.
rolling a 1 is so fucking stressful, because you're like, either someone's gonna have to heal me, and if they can't, I have, like, a 50% chance next turn of literally dying.
Yep. It is quite a traumatic experience to drop quite that low, because there are no do-overs.
Well, I kind of hope we could do like a judo thing if it ever happens.
Well,
Plus.
you would certainly have to, if you wanted to bring your characters back, go on a monumental adventure, yes.
But then my mother would die if I don't hurry. Shit. Anyway, let's not despair too much yet.
You haven't died yet.
As a character, again, this is like a hard one to answer because V is really conflicted right now, and I think for a big part she's really frustrated because she's kind of afraid that Arya is gonna be right about not being able to take care of herself. But yeah, the things are really dangerous, and I think she knew that setting out on an adventure wasn't going to be easy, but like being so close to death, twice in one day, and in really, really terrifying ways as well. Like, it's not like you got slashed on the chest and you're bleeding out. It's like, no, you're paralyzed and dying, or you're literally suffocating and acid is burning through your skin, kind of dying, it's really terrifying, I think.
Yeah, you didn't get to go quietly from a thunderbolt in the back.
No. But yeah, I think the next session and the end of the day is gonna determine a lot on how V actually feels at the end of this. Because fuck me, if it's all gonna be worth it and she knows something about her mother or about where she needs to go, then fine. But if she doesn't know anything more, she's gonna like break down. I think she's like, why did I nearly die for all of this? Yeah, so it's gonna be good.
Yeah, it's certainly been quite the adventure for the. Is there a highlight or a low light you'd like to pick out from last session, other than nearly dying.
Wow.
Thanks, bro. I guess I kind of like the part with the shadow fiends where he was just like, "Fuck this shit, I'm out," and just like fucking took her broom and flew into the air. Because you weren't expecting it either,
No.
Ferrous, and I was just like, this works. I like my broom. It's the first time I've used it, and it's working out.
Yes. Well, no, I quite enjoyed that moment as well. It was a regular hero moment.
I don't know. I didn't feel like it was super heroic, but I felt smart. I felt like,
Yeah.
wow, I'm not dying. I can be in the air and no one has to worry.
Yes. Yeah. Awesome. Right. I shall be awarding you. I can bring it up again. For last session's antics, you can gain 370 experience.
Okay.
Even for all the deaths, you still managed to kill quite a lot of monsters. Okay. And our resident buff dragon waifu.
I like that that's what she's become now.
Yes. How did Kelariis feel at the end of last session? How did Jayla feel at the end of last session?
Oh boy, okay. I'm not really sure which I'd rather tackle first. I'll probably go with how I felt as the player. So, kind of piggybacking off what Helena was saying, being confronted with your character actually almost dying is like really terrifying. I was really scared when I rolled that one. And I've played in one other campaign before this, and my character then was unconscious but was like immediately healed, so I never had to make a death saving throw. And just that feeling of holy crap, what's gonna happen if she does die? Like, I'm not gonna lie, I probably would have had a small quiet breakdown if Kelariis had ended up actually dying at that point, because I just felt really bad for her, and I was like, I put you in such a bad situation, I'm so sorry. But I guess I also learned as a player that sometimes I have to really challenge my instinct to be like a quote-unquote tactical player, in the sense that I would have healed myself a lot, or like if I was playing in a sense that wasn't role-playing, I would have done a lot more healing of myself, and reminding myself that Kelariis wouldn't do this. She would either use that healing on somebody else, or she would just go in and attack or something like that. And that's, again, an ongoing thing for me to remind myself of that, but it was very prevalent in this particular session because of the events that transpired.
Yes.
And as Kelariis, I think that being confronted again with it, well, maybe not again, but being this close to death this time, and being brought back and being saved, I think part of what was going through her head was, I haven't finished what I've set out to do. And I realized, like, thinking about it, that she kind of has a very strong sense of, I don't want to fail at what I've set out to do. Which kind of, I think that came out a little bit in the other session when she was praying to Tritherion. And I think that her being faced with almost dying, she's like, holy crap, this is really dangerous and really real. And that she also feels a little... I mean, okay, here's the thing. So, like, V was fine in that fight with the shadow creatures, but Kelariis said that she was going to have her back, and she didn't actually get there to do that. She kind of, face planted onto the benches in front of her before she could get anywhere near helping V. And she does feel bad about that as well, because she said, like, I will have your back, and she didn't actually have that ability in the end. And another thing is, and this is like partially me as Jayla realizing this, but also like partially Kelariis realizing this, but she, I think, is coming to realize that this is a weird thing to think of after almost dying, but she probably shouldn't be keeping her little kitten with her anymore. And that was probably a bad idea to bring along Nugget in the first place, because holy crap, danger is everywhere.
Yes,
And
indeed.
and she wasn't thinking of that at the time, because she was just like, oh, like, cat that's in danger, I'm going to rescue you. But now she's like, oh shit, I'm actually putting you in more danger. You probably shouldn't stay with me. Which will be fun next session, because, well, assuming we get out of there alive, that she'll probably... I mean, I have an idea of where Nugget's gonna end up, hopefully. But, yeah. Stuff.
Yeah. For our listeners who are not privy to a conversation that we had, we actually at the end of last session, I believe, we realised that basically for probably about 4 sessions, I had basically forgotten where the players had been storing all of their items, the things that they're not carrying on them, which basically resulted in some very important plot development that possibly could have happened that didn't happen. So we just had we've had a universal retcon that basically all of the party's belongings that they are not currently carrying on themselves are all back at Silverbrook Hall and have been for a indeterminate period of time, just to make life easier, so that we don't have to backtrack and relay a whole bunch of different stories that could have, should have happened. So yeah, other than those particular moments, did you have a particular highlight or lowlight to pick out?
Well, I mean, the low light was almost dying.
Yeah.
No, but the highlight, I think it was more of a kind of a role-playing highlight. It was a half role-playing highlight and half, oh my god, I have a use for this thing that I never thought I'd have a proper use for. But it was when Kelariis was able to, stop V from being paralyzed for however long it was supposed to be that she was supposed to be paralyzed for. Because I'd been using, like, the whole lay on hands thing, just like, here, instant heal. But then I was like, oh my god, I can actually use the other part of this, which is, curing poison and disease things. And just the moment that followed after that, even though it was kind of preceded by, paralyzed V, was kind of nice in the sense.
Healing hug.
Yeah, the healing hug. Because I think, Kelariis doesn't... she's not that she's tried to be distant from V, it's just that she hasn't had a lot that she's been able to reach out with, I guess, without feeling like she's being... I don't know. But basically it was just like, here, I want to help you, please. Healing hug. So yeah.
Yeah, I think that moment was quite monumental for both of your characters, in that it was sort of... Kelariis has been a lifesaver before, but never directly to V. And now that it has been, it's brought your characters closer.
Yeah. And V gave me berries, or well, she gave Kelariis berries, and I thought that was really cute.
Yeah. Excellent. Yeah, you may also take your experience 370.
Thank you.
I think it's interesting how V now has these people in the party that she's very comfortable with showing weakness and feeling sad and stuff, which is like Vondal and Kelariis. And there's Grim and Arya, who she's just like, no, I have to be strong. I have to prove myself.
It does create some interesting scenarios, that's for sure. Minnie, having watched things back, did you have anything that you sort of wanted to append as a highlight for the session?
Oh, I will say, like, the broom thing was one of the highlights in my opinion. Was Lily running around, literally having 2 shadows running after.
Yeah.
That was kind of funny.
Lily went through a fairly traumatic experience in that chamber, and it's one they will not forget lightly.
Yeah, that was my main high of the session.
Your high of the session was someone being chased around by shadow fiends?
Wow.
It was very funny for me.
I mean, to be fair, I guess at that point they weren't hitting them, but still.
Yeah. Just glad you're not there, put it that way.
Yep.
As for where you were during this whole shenanigans, that is what we will discover after a very brief break. So, I probably won't edit. I will probably edit this all into one video, so there'll be like a cut here. What?
Cut!
But
Okay, we are back after our little interval thing. And I'm here with Minnie, Grim. Hello.
Yep.
And
Hey there.
we are going to handle very briefly what happened between sessions. So, I don't know how much you remember from your watching back of the previous sessions, but basically you and Ilaran went off to investigate a building near the Wild Hunt compound that you expected had collapsed.
Yep, I remember.
Indeed. Okay. So basically, as you you're the first to arrive on the scene, as you were the first to leave, and basically you arrive in front of basically one of the burned out buildings that has quite apparently collapsed. It's one of the buildings that was basically gutted by fire, and it looked from a cursory observation, it seems like some of the ceiling timbers have collapsed inwards. As you look around, there basically seems to be one elf who seems to be basically trying to dig through the ruins, and another elf who basically seems to be they're basically sort of like hands behind the head, looking worried, and basically as you approach, they start to walk towards you.
Everything alright? Did anyone get injured?
The elf looks at you kind of frantically and says, I don't really know. We were in the process of clearing things out of the building and trying to make sure it was safe, and I think somebody was in there when it collapsed."
Well then, we better start digging.
Okay. He agrees fervently with you, and basically ushers you over to where the other guy is attempting to move the timbers. He doesn't seem to be doing a great job of it. It looks like you're going to need a little bit of help to get these timbers moved.
Wait, is it because the timber is too heavy, or because...
They've all fallen in on top of themselves, so you're going to have to sort of remove them very carefully to avoid everything else sort of collapsing even further. But obviously, some timbers are laying on top of others, so it's going to take a degree of skill as well as a degree of physical muscle.
I look around, see if there's anyone else nearby.
Okay. As you take a look around, you can see just briefly down the road that you've just come up is Ilaran is running towards you.
Okay. Well, if I see him, I see him running towards me, so I start climbing up some of the debris so I can get on top and like start handing it down, basically.
Okay. Yeah, you're going to start from the top.
Yep.
Okay. Do you say anything to the other elves that are sort of helping you? Or?
I say, you two, you grab whatever I give you and just move it to the side somewhere.
Okay. Yeah, they seem to happily listen to your orders. You basically start hauling the first timbers down. Give me a strength check as Ilaran is arriving on the scene. Make it athletics, because I think you're trained in athletics.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, you it's quite difficult to get like obviously a grasp on these timbers because they're quite fire damaged, and they sort of like they start dissolving in your hands, and it's very difficult to get a solid grip on them. But you manage to get a grip on the first one. You're sort of hauling it down as Ilaran arrives, and he says, "Is there anyone hurt?"
We believe someone is buried here.
All right. Okay. So Ilaran takes a brief look around and says, "Oh well, looks like we'll just have to make do with what we've got for now. I think everybody else is off back at the hall." And he... Sorry, carry on.
Would there be like any like broken small beams or anything that I could like use as leverage?
Roll me a perception
Or-
check.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, it takes you a little while, but you do manage to find something that you feel you could use as a thing to help lever it around. In the meantime, Eleran sort of climbs up to where you are and also begins to start hauling timbers. He actually seems to be like he seems to be completely fired up for this, and he actually manages to clear one or two of the larger timbers as you're looking around for a lever.
Okay.
But you do manage to find one. This is where your cunning comes in.
Oh well, I'm gonna like warn the guys or the elves that like are receiving the debris right now. So I'm gonna try and shove down the beams with this by pushing it with the lever.
Okay. They look at each other a little confused for a moment, but you seem to know what you're doing, so they agree and they're just like, okay, and they're ready to help out. Roll me another athletics check with advantage. Okay, thanks to your quick thinking, you actually managed to make very short work of quite a lot of the timbers. Iloran sort of like gets in behind you and starts like pushing the timbers that you lever up, and then the elves are capturing them. Until actually you've made quite a decent dent in this roof. At which point you basically hear the soft sounds of somebody coughing from underneath the collapsed roof.
Iloran, I think I can hear someone.
Yeah, Iloran looks like you can hear him too.
Okay. How close does he sound? Or are we like? Is there like way more rubble to clear?
Roll me an investigation. Okay. It's difficult to tell because his the voice is faint. But you reckon if you were to clear a few more timbers, you could get in there and take a look around.
Okay. Well, I continue clearing
Okay.
the timber.
Another athletics check with advantage.
Yep.
Nice. You do this. You clear the next few timbers very, very quickly and very, very efficiently. And basically, as you toss the last sort of timber away, you actually make a space that's large enough for you to like lower yourself into, and you immediately notice as you do so that there is a prone elf lying basically underneath a timber that is lying on top of him.
Could I lift this timber?
Yes, certainly.
I'll
Yeah, make me an athletics check to see what you can do to prop this thing up. Okay, yeah, you basically get underneath it and you lift this thing up so that it is it's no longer on top of him. Roll me a medicine check as you do so.
Yep.
Wow. Okay. As you lift this up, the elf basically grimaces in pain and cries out. And you're pretty sure he's wounded, but what's happened to him you don't know.
Could I use something like, for example, the handle of my Morningstar to like support the beam, or would that be too short?
It would be very difficult to get it to prop up so that you could move him.
I call Iloran. Iloran, get down here.
Okay, Iloran drops down. He as well spots the injured elf and comes over and takes a look. And I need to actually check what Iloran's medicine skill is. Okay. Yeah, Iloran takes a look at this elf and says, he's definitely injured. I think maybe his ribs might be broken. There's definitely some internal bleeding. We need to get him out of here carefully. And he turns to you and says, "Do you think you can hold that while I get him out?"
I'll definitely try my best.
Okay.
Or, yeah, just like thinking.
Okay.
There's nothing within sight that could like support it.
Roll me a perception check. Okay. Yeah, you reckon that basically if Ilran were to pass you a handful of like the wood that you'd used as leverage and some more of the broken timbers, you could make sort of like a tripod to hold this up so that you wouldn't have to support it entirely by yourself.
Well, I would still have to support it, so I guess I'll just go for the quick route
Okay.
of just lifting it.
Okay. Roll me athletics check as Ilran tries to pull this elf to safety. Okay, yeah, you're sort of you stand there and strain for a little bit, but Ilran's fairly efficient at pulling this guy up, and the elf seems to be in a significant amount of pain, but Ilran does his best to sort of minimize the effects. And you basically pull the elf from this rubble, and you drop the timbers back down carefully and climb your way back up again. At which point, the elves who were working on the thing turn to Ilran, who's carrying their injured companion, and they seem to be very grateful. And they turn to you and say, "Oh, thank you so much for your help."
No problem. Like, do you think he's gonna be okay? Or actually, I'm gonna ask the injured elf first. Do you think you're gonna be okay?
He sort of like he looks at you through it's like a fog of pain, and he's sort of like, it hurts so much, but I think I'll live. And Ilran sort of says, yeah, we had best take him to a healer, but his injuries don't seem too severe, at least not from first glance.
Okay. Well, I guess that's good. How about you two bring him to a healer? The two elves that were like helping. And well, actually, before you head off, could you any idea what caused this?
They look at each other and basically just say, we're not really sure. We were clearing things out and trying to be careful. I guess we moved something that we shouldn't have done that was holding the structure together, and it just gave up.
Well, try to be more careful next time.
They nod in agreement. Roll me an investigation check as you are turning away from this whole situation. Okay. You notice actually that basically as the structure has collapsed, you suspect almost certainly that they've knocked a part of the support structure that was about to collapse, and it basically came down on them. But what you do notice is even considering how long ago this building had been burnt, the act of the collapse still sent some like some glowing ash into the air, and you can still you can smell the like the acrid smell of burning in the air. And as you're actually looking around, you see in the distance, like a short way out into the forest, that it looks like actually there is smoke rising from a portion of the forest as well.
Ilran, I think we should check out that smoke. Smoke is never a good sign.
Ilran looks in the same direction you're looking, and he says, yes, the last thing we need is a forest fire on our hands. He turns to the two elves and says something very quickly in Elvish to them, presumably, take this man to a healer, we're going outside. And yeah, he basically grabs his... he took off his backpack to help you with the hauling, and he slings his backpack back on again and says, shall we?
Okay.
Okay. You guys basically head a short distance out into the forest. and basically, as you are approaching the site of this smoke, you do hear you hear some strange noises. Roll me a perception check. Okay. The best way you can describe these noises sounds like the creaking and swaying of a tree in a great breeze, but there's no wind nearby that would be causing that sound.
I try to get Illirin's attention.
Yeah.
And
as you turn to Illirin does himself seem to be listening for something.
well, I give him like a couple seconds till he like stops like listening, or at least like obviously stops listening.
Yeah, he turns to you and sees that you're already facing him.
It's like, any idea what it is?
I'm not sure. It sounds like a tree moving, but I'm not sure what that means. He listens again for another couple of seconds and says, "There's definitely a fire, though. I can hear things burning."
Oh, I guess we better hurry up then.
Okay. As you run into the clearing ahead of you, you are confronted with an unusual sight. Basically, in front of you is a large tree that seems to be burning. However, the large tree in front of you that seems to be burning also seems to be alive.
Okay. Do I have any idea of what it is?
Roll me a nature check. Okay. As you examine this tree, you notice basically it seems to stand almost on all fours and have basically like almost like a face, and it's basically like it's uprooted from the ground. And it at first glance you would say it almost looks more like a beast than a tree. And you've heard stories about living trees before, or more accurately, awakened trees, that are very often created by druids as guardians of a grove.
That will be weird.
Sorry, say again?
I said, yeah, I said, yeah, that seems kind of strange. Why one would pop up here.
It is unusual, yes. The other thing you notice as you look around is there seem to be a series of smaller plant life monsters that are around it, but these seem very strange indeed, in that they basically seem to be they look like almost like humanoid shapes made of vine, and they are basically gathered around this tree, and like you can hear now that the creaking sound is basically made by the great tree guardian as it is trying to sort of it's swatting at a nearby tree that has caught fire, and it's trying to put the fire out, but the act of sort of it sweeping the tree is just, it's blowing air on it and making the fire worse, and it's scattering sparks onto nearby trees. And the vine creatures that are surrounding it seem to basically be standing around the feet of this great big tree, and they're speaking in a tongue that I don't believe you understand.
Oh, no mission common, that's it.
No mission common. Yes, no, you would not understand it. But yes, they they're basically speaking in a language that you do not understand, but they seem to be watching this great tree and just sort of observing what it is that it's doing.
Do they seem hostile towards it?
Towards the
just-
tree? Roll me an insight check. They don't seem hostile, but they seem to be making no attempts to help it either.
Okay.
As you observe this, Iloran basically comes over to you, and he says, "This is a strange sight indeed. This, I did not know that there were any druid guardians near Silverbrook. And as for these creatures, I'd say they were vine blights, but." Vine blights are a very, very unusual beast indeed.
I'm not quite sure. Do we have any means of putting out the fire? Should probably have thought about that before we went out here.
Yeah. Iloran sort of says, "Well, I have some degree of nature magic that I can use. I'm not sure if it will help to put out this burning, but our prime concern really should be these vine blights. They're not natural beasts of the forest. These are they're basically an abomination to nature."
Very well. We will deal with them first.
At which point, yeah, okay. The vine blights seem to basically be moving around the tree, but they don't seem to have actually noticed you or are paying attention to you at all. You can basically make an action without them doing anything if you want.
Let me see how far away they are. I guess I could try throwing dart.
Okay. Okay, roll me some damage.
1.
Nice.
Nice.
Okay, so with that, roll me initiative as your dart strikes the vine blight and slices into it.
I
Dealing
was
some
just trying
damage.
to select my character.
Whoops. Okay. Oh, hang on. This turn order still exists from previously. And let's have some more appropriate music. Yeah. And turn. Oh wow, amazing. That is a natural 1.
Well, they seemed kind of similar to Vondal anyway.
As for the tree... Oh, the tree also is completely useless.
Amazing.
Wow, well done, Iloran, you rolled a 7 twice.
Well, still the fastest one of the
Yep.
bunch.
Slowest initiative order. Right, okay, you throw a war dart at one of the vine blights and it takes damage. I'm going to turn the volume of this fight music down a little bit because it's a little bit high. Okay. Iloran is going to do his best to step forward and line up one of the vine blights with his longbow. Which he hits. and deals 7 damage. Okay.
Okay.
Your turn.
I'm going to. Can I make there? I'm going to step in in front of him,
Okay.
just to provide some kind of cover, even though he's capable of handling combat, and throw another ward art.
Okay.
Yep.
At the same one or different?
Yeah, the same one, the one on this
yeah.
one.
Okay. Roll me some damage.
Yes.
Nice. -4.
4 at a time.
Okay. The tree is going to... Oh, that should be whispered, but never mind. Okay. The tree fails once again to put out the flames atop of the tree that it is batting at. And as soon as it becomes aware of your presence, it turns and begins to walk towards you. The vine blights are going to slither forwards also. And 2 of them are going to flank you.
Yeah.
And they are going to attempt to grapple you with their vines. A 15 does not hit you.
Nope.
Neither does a 16.
Nope. I'm good.
Okay. Iloran sort of, as seeing the tree approach them, says, I'm not sure that's such a good thing to fight that. We may want to be a little bit careful.
I agree.
At which point he's going to take another shot with his longbow at the only one that is not in combat. And deal some damage to it. Your turn.
I think for now, if I use disengage, I can only disengage from one of them, right?
No, you could, disengage is basically taking your entire action to not provoke opportunity attacks.
Okay. Well, I'll just. I think I have time for one more swing. So I'll pull out my Morningstar and take a swing at the one on the left.
Okay.
One I've been hitting all this time.
Okay. Yeah. Roll me some damage.
Nice.
Nice.
Oh, well, I'm actually doing pretty good.
You crush into the vine blight, and you hear like a lot of the vines sort of like break, and some of them tear away from it. But it's still basically trying to grapple you. The tree is going to basically continue to walk towards you, completely ignoring the vine blights. At which point, the vine blights need to make me dexterity saving throws, one of which is made, the other one which is not. One of the vine blights is basically crushed underfoot by this giant tree, and the other one manages to slither aside as the great tree walks towards you.
That thing is horrifying.
It attempts to pulverize you into the ground. A 17 does not hit you, correct?
Nope.
Okay, you nimbly step away from the slam that it brings down on you. The vine blights are going to move towards you guys again, one of which is going to attempt to entangle you, and the other one which is going to attempt to entangle Iloran. So 20?
That does hit.
Okay, I need you to take me 2... that's 10 damage, so that's 7 from your feet.
Oh, yep.
Okay, you take 7 damage. The other one is going to attempt to grapple Ilaran, and it does not succeed. Ilaran is going to put his bow away and go out to the trusty hand axes. Oh, yes, nice.
Oh, wow.
Okay. He hacks one of the vine blights in half with great prejudice. And yeah, and actually manages to cleave into the other one with his second attack, removing both of the vine blights. At which point Ilaran says, "Keep its attention, I've got an idea." And he begins to run around it.
I hope you know what you're doing.
I hope I do too. Okay.
Well, since I was ordered to keep its attention, I am going to keep its attention.
Okie dokie.
Although I feel like Ilaran's too close for me to back off. So, I will stand and fight against this humongous tree.
It's literally giant. It's like 10 or 15 feet tall, and it could very easily step on you and kill you.
Okay, well, I will actually... Okay, maybe I should move then.
I mean,
How would I-
if you walk away from it and then continue to taunt it, it might still follow you.
That's true. I will... actually, I'll move 25 feet without disengaging.
Okay, so it gets an attack of opportunity.
Yep.
It misses.
Okay, and I throw a throwing dart.
Okay.
And I also... Oh, wait, actually, I need to hit it first before I do more stuff.
Yep.
And
Roll
then
roll me some damage.
Yep. And I believe I can use maneuvering attack to get Ilaran to move even if he isn't adjacent to the end. Or...
Roll me it and remind me what it does.
I just have to be able to see or hear it.
You add 8 to the attack's roll, and you choose a friendly creature who can see or hear you. Yeah, so doesn't require.
So he can move along a bit.
Okay, yeah, sure. He definitely does that. To there.
That's an interesting move.
Yeah, he seems to just run behind it. So yeah, your dart thuds quite deep into this creature's bark, but it doesn't seem to be terribly effective. It's.
I'll just start waving my arms around a bit.
Yeah, you certainly seem to have its attention. I'm going to delete these vine blights because they're now just destroyed. It continues to lumber towards you. It is going to take another swing at you. Misses completely.
Nice.
Like its massive club-like arm comes down to swat at you, and it like knocks this massive plume of dirt into the air as it tries to hit you.
I guess +6 to hit as well.
But it basically slams into the ground, and it actually sort of like it loses you in the cloud of dust because you're so small, and it struggles to find you. Ilaran, in the meantime, continues to run towards it, and he's going to make a acrobatics check. Oh wow! Well done, Ilaran. Ilaran chooses absolutely the wrong moment to attempt to jump onto this giant tree's back, and he stumbles and falls off it, taking 3 points of bludgeoning damage. As he lands awkwardly from falling off it. It is your turn.
I don't feel like risking the dodge this time. Or actually, since it has the same movement speed, I kind of have to in order to get away from it. Oh no, actually, it's got an attack in anyway.
Its movement speed is basically 20 feet, so... Oh yeah, sorry, actually, it should be there, but it has 10 feet on its attack range, so...
Okay. Well, at least I won't be crushed. I'm gonna move to the side so I don't run off the map.
Well, you can keep running in that direction, and this map will just scroll infinitely, basically. You'll just start running into terrain.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so the map scrolls.
Well, I'm basically... And then I'm gonna...
And behind you begin to spawn some trees. Continue to make your turn whilst I draw these.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the perfect distance. Okay, and I'll throw another dart and keep on waving my arms and trying to keep its attention. Like, hey, tree head, over here.
Uh-huh.
Ooh, tree. Oh, that might actually be useful.
That might actually be useful. Yeah, okay. That is enough to hit. It's fairly easy to hit a giant tree with a dart.
Yeah, I kind of... But it's not gonna do much. I don't even know why I'm rolling damage. But yeah.
Well, you're like embedding it with darts. It does seem to be like it does seem to be taking damage. Not a huge amount of damage, but it is taking some damage. It continues to lumber towards here, and it's going to take another swing. Wham! It misses you again.
I'm so happy.
You're playing Ring Around the Rosie with this giant tree, at which point Iloran sort of gets up, continues to run after it, and attempts to make another athletics check. Or acrobatics check. Fucking hell, boy. Iloran takes another 4 bludgeoning damage as he falls off the back of this giant tree again.
Is Iloran just gonna kill himself, or...?
You hear Iloran shout to you, "I've changed my mind, I don't think this is going to work."
You don't say.
I've got a better idea. Run.
That
at which
sounds like
point
a
it's
plan.
your turn.
Okay, I'm just gonna head towards... Let's see. I'm gonna head between these trees. Oh. And throw another darts.
Okay. This one is just out of your effective range, and you miss. The tree is momentarily confused. And it is going to turn around and attack the elf that is trying to climb it.
Ooh. I should have remembered to taunt it.
How many ones can Ferrous roll today is the question of the day.
Well, let's see, we're up to 1, 2... Oh, if you ignore me, it's 3, 4, 5...
Iloran avoids the slam of the giant tree. Helena and Jayla are crying in Spectator.
It's pretty good.
And Iloran has decided that discretion is the better part of valor. He is going to... yeah, he's gonna chance it. He's going to cast Longstrider on himself. And he's going to leg it 40 feet in that direction. 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 40. He does get an attack of opportunity against him, though. Wham!
No wonder this thing couldn't put out the fire.
What the fuck is actually wrong with this tree?
Ugh.
I thought I was at
like-
least going to deal some damage to you. Holy shit.
Look, I'm doing fine.
It's good. I'm getting out all my bad rolls ready for Sunday. It's fine.
No, it's like you're compensating for
Okay.
last session.
Yeah, the tree still seems to be following Eleran. So
Okay.
you might want to continue your taunting.
Yeah. Actually, I'm gonna get a bit closer this time.
Okay.
So what's getting closer? That's the question. No, I'll throw another dart. And hopefully that's enough to taunt it with some name calling and stuff.
It's not enough to hit it. Roll me an intimidate check.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, you throw this and it's sort of like it pings off the bark, but you sort of like you give an intimidating sounding yell, and the tree seems to be interested in you again. At which point it lumbers forward 20 feet. But it is not in range to swing at you.
Yay.
Eleran is going to continue to run in this direction. And he's going to unsling his bow again and take a shot with his bow to attempt to distract it away from you. That's enough. He deals some damage to it. And
Oh, and he gets all the bonus stuff as well.
oh yes, he does. I forgot about that.
The D4 or
It's
6 or
a
something.
D6, yes, which is slightly less, but okay. Yeah, he takes some damage. The tree does not seem to be interested in Ilaran's attempts to intimidate it, though. It's still more interested in you.
Okay. I'm gonna. I want to keep it within Ilaran's sight. Well, I guess Ilaran has like insane movement right now. So
Yeah, he can move 40 feet, and his maximum range is like 600 or something. So
yeah, he'll be fine. I'm gonna run. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll run here. Might be in range, but I like this spot.
okay.
Throw another dart. I'm actually
Okay.
running out of darts like this. And well,
Yep, you deal some damage to it.
yeah.
The tree is already aggroed on you, so it doesn't need to make a check. It is going to move towards you and attempt to slam you again. Wham!
Yep.
It still doesn't hit you. Hitting
Thing
gnomes
is,
is
I
really
kind of-
hard when you're a giant tree.
The thing is, I kind of want to see how much damage it deals, but on the other hand, I'm very happy it doesn't hit.
Yep. Eleran continues to run and basically yells to you as he is running. If we get out of the grove, it will go back to doing whatever it is that it's doing.
Ah, okay. Perhaps it's best to leave it alone then.
I would.
I
He
don't think we
is
have
not
enough
going to
arrows.
fire an arrow this time. It's your turn.
I wish he would have said that last turn. Well, I'm just gonna run all that I can. I'm not even gonna disengage because that halves my movement, right?
Yep.
Guess I can only. What's the best way to run? So I'll go over there.
Okay. Wham!
Oh, a hit!
Finally hits you. It catches you with its roots. That's a lot
okay,
of damage.
That's
Minus
that's a
3
decent
because
amount
it's
of-
mundane.
Okay, well,
But
still.
it does do a tremendous job of batting you away and knocking you almost sprawling.
Ouch. Well, I guess since I still have my action,
You do.
I know what I should have done. I should have used my a combat surge. Oh well. I'll use second wind,
Okay.
so I heal up.
You land on your feet and you take a brief moment to sort of like catch your breath, and you're
Like,
ready to keep going.
Like I'm not doing that again.
Yeah, don't want to have that happen again.
Oh, and then action surge to dash away. Is that possible?
Yeah, go for it.
So, dash is your entire movement.
It's the same movement again, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
The awakened tree is going to attempt to follow you. There's no way it can catch you. Ilaran disappears off into the trees, into the GM layer. As do presumably you.
Yeah, I'll just keep on.
Yeah.
Keep on going.
You disappear off as well. At which point, you hear behind you the lumbering sounds of the tree returning to its grove. And as you meet back up with Ilaran, he's sort of like, well, that didn't exactly go as planned.
Well, we got rid of the divine creeps, or whatever they were.
That was very strange. They were vine blights.
Vine blights.
Yes. He sort of looks at you with a look that says, I presume you don't know about vine blights.
Not really. Well, actually, I might know something about them, but oh well.
Roll me
Just
a
one sec.
history check. Nope.
Nope.
Ilaran basically begins to tell you a story as you walk back. Fairly quickly, but not too quickly, because you have just been running around a lot. And he basically tells you a story about how, basically during the time of the First Age, there was a famous elven lord called Gulthias, who basically Gulthias ruled his section of the Elven Kingdom with basically an iron fist. He was a very, very harsh leader, and it's unknown whether it's just folklore, but it was basically said that he was the most hated Elven Lord to basically ever have existed. But he, like most evil lords, desired more than just ruling his corner of the Elven Kingdom. He wanted power. And he turned away from the free gods and turned to the evil lord Vecna, and basically made a pact with Vecna. And Vecna said, "I will make you a king of the Feywild if you do one thing for me." And of course, Gulthias agreed. And Gulthias basically said, take this blade and spill your own blood at the roots of the first tree. And the first tree is a monumental landmark in the Feywild. It's basically like right at the heart of Corella and Lotharian's realm. He said, take this blade and spill your blood at the roots of the first tree, and when this is done, I will ascend. You will ascend, and I will grant you the power that you deserve. And Gulthias did this. But as basically as his blood fell at the roots of the first tree, a terrible blight began to grow, and it formed great rivulets in the first tree, and it became things like vine blights and twig blights and needle blights, and basically as soon as this happened, Corellon and the other gods became aware of this, and they turned on Gulthias, and they said, "Gulthias, why have you done this?" And he admitted that Vecna agreed to give me great power if I were to do this. And as the gods looked on him, they saw that Vecna's power was within him, and he was basically transformed into a terrifying vampire. And for this, the gods basically they cast him out of the Feywild, and he was doomed to live a mortal existence as an abomination in the material plane, where basically, being who she is, Melora swore that for his crimes against nature she would hunt him until the end of his days. The ending of Gulthias is unknown. Their legends tell it differently. Some say that Melora slew Gulthias in a great battle. Some say that Gulthias still lives in the forest. Some say that Gulthias died of his own transgressions against the forest. But all that is known is blights exist as the legacy of Gulthias the vampire, and they are basically evil forest beings, and they exist only to harm and disrupt the balance of nature, and that's basically why Eleran said you should take action. But yeah, he tells you the story of Gulthias the vampire and his legacy. At which point you guys basically arrive back at Silverbrook.
Well, that was quite the tale and quite the trip.
It was indeed. Right, we had best find somebody who can help us put out this forest fire.
Yes, and perhaps we should think of a way to at least calm the awakened tree, or the...
I agree. At which point, you hear, approaching the walls of Silverbrook, the sound of a horn. What that horn signifies, you'll have to find out on Sunday. Because that's where we will leave this brief adventure.
It's been an interesting adventure.
So, yes. You too may, for this short escapade, have 740 experience, bringing you roughly level with the party.
740?
Oh, sorry, not 740. That it's half of that because it's 370. Sorry.
370. I was like,
yes.
that
I was like,
that's
that's a lot. Yes, that's because I didn't include Iloran. Iloran also gets 370 experience.
I was like, you do remember I didn't kill the giant thing?
Yes.
Okay.
I've just realised, actually, with all of the encounters that you've been through, Iloran is probably about to level up. But that doesn't matter. But yes. Thank you for playing in this short. You now know what has happened to Grim whilst the others were underground. And you will find out a little bit more about what has happened next week. Or on Sunday. So, if the others want to rejoin us briefly, just to have a little conversation and then do a little sign-off.
Greetings.
Hello.
We were fucking dying at once.
It was quite an adventure in me rolling a 1 repeatedly for the attack rolls of every monster.
You You had
Ooh.
6 rolls and rolled 5 ones.
It was amazing.
It is quite incredible.
Yep.
Oh, shit.
Well, there's a very important lesson to be learned out of that, and it's not just the players have garbage rolls. Sometimes the Dungeon Master has garbage rolls as well, and he still has to make the story interesting somehow.
I'm just happy that I survived. Because if those rolls had been better, that wouldn't have gone as well.
Yes.
Although I guess we would have pulled out way quicker.
Yes, you probably would have spent your turns fleeing rather than taunting a tree.
Ugh. I'm still curious what he wanted to do.
Climb it.
Yeah, I know he wanted to climb it, but well, if you're on top of it, what next?
Well,
I don't know,
you'll
put out the fire maybe? I don't know.
you'll
I mean,
ha-
the thing was still on fire, so.
you'll have to ask him another time.
Yeah,
I feel
guess
like
should've
Iloran would be
remembered.
like, don't tell Simone that happened.
Yeah.
Look, me and Simone aren't that close anyway.
He is
God, that
probably
was
thinking
funny.
to himself, I'm really glad Simone didn't see this. But yes,
That was really funny.
that was an
So great.
adventure.
It
Right.
was.
Well, if you guys would like to sign off, then we will call it an evening.
Alright, well,
That's where you say goodnight.
good night.
everyone.
See ya.
Night.
Good night.
Until
Thank you.
Sunday.
See you on Sunday, everybody.
Yeah, see you on Sunday.